offers you.
And to know that you are united with 100,000 plus women, it's incredible.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
Today's DAR is carrying on its tradition of patriotism and service, giving its best to America.
We are fortunate to be Americans, and it is up to us to continue the legacy that our founders began and to make this a better country.
Hi, I'm Mike Pacini, Community Affairs Director for Boulder Disposal. Citywide no-sort recycling is here. Boulder City now has expanded a citywide comprehensive no-sort recycling program. It is so simple to use and proven to increase recycling results virtually overnight. Welcome to the Boulder City Recycling Center, where thousands and thousands of tons of your recyclables are diverted from being buried in our landfill. You can now recycle at home, at work, and at school. The new recycling program is totally easy, so do your part. Aim for zero waste. How easy is it, you ask? You throw all your recyclables into one bin and you're done. And it's that simple. Just put your cart at the curb before 6 a.m. every Wednesday to ensure pickup.
Recycling is now available for single-family and multifamily residences, including apartments, mobile home parks, and RV parks.
The new program includes businesses, schools, and parks too. So no matter where you are in Boulder City, you can do your part.
The industry term for no-sort recycling is single stream. In its simplest terms, what used to be multiple streams of recyclables needed to be separated by the homeowner in advance of pickup. The no-sort method combines all the streams, paper, plastic, and glass, into one. All participants need to do is throw all recyclables into one container. And due to technological advances in recovering the materials, nearly all of the waste is effectively recycled. Be sure to review the No-Sort Recycling Guide brochure that came with your container to ensure proper material disposal. Recyclable guidelines are also indicated on the container lid.
Boulder City, with your continued commitment to recycling and our new BC Waste-Free No-Sort Recycling Program, we are confident we can more than double the amount of recyclables kept out of our landfill. All homeowners can participate in the citywide BC Waste-Free Curbside Recycling Program. Each homeowner will be provided with a green 65-gallon wheeled recycling bin.
All recycling will be collected on Wednesday every week. Place all recyclable materials in the green bin and wheel it to the curb. Remember, the green bin should have no food, yard waste, clothing, styrofoam, wax-coated cartons, or cups. It's very important to keep the green bin for our recyclables only. Once your green bins have been emptied, the recyclables are trucked to the Boulder City Recycling Center and unloaded.
It's here at the Boulder City Recycling Center where your recyclables are loaded into containers and trucked to the main recycling center in North Las Vegas. So no matter where you are in Boulder City, you can do your part. Aim for zero waste. For those residences requiring additional recycling bins, please email us at contact@bcwastefree.com or visit us online at bcwastefree.com. Improved recycling is vital to the future of our city and our planet. Aim for zero waste. I'm Mike Pacini, Community Affairs Director for Boulder Disposal, and together we'll make Boulder City cleaner and greener.
It's been said that everything we are or will ever be begins with a single drop of water, that each drop brings a sacred gift, and that as these drops accumulate to form streams, rivers, lakes, and seas, completing the cycle with returning rain and snow, life renews from year to year just as it does from generation to generation. Water means life for us all. Whoever you are, whatever you do, you and everyone you know or ever will know absolutely depends on a safe and reliable supply of clean fresh water. Maintaining that supply of fresh water that we all depend on for our health and well-being in the face of ever-increasing threats from overuse and pollution requires constant vigilance. A new threat to our water supply has emerged in North America over the last 2 decades that has the potential to forever alter our ability to access and use those vital water resources. That threat is the rapidly spreading invasion of quagga and zebra mussels. And our attention and vigilance is needed now to safeguard our life-giving water resources for future generations.
Hello everyone, I'm Senator Dianne Feinstein, and during my time in the Senate, it's been a great privilege to work here in Washington and also back home in California on many issues that affect our critically important water resources. And I must tell you, nothing is more difficult. I've sponsored many bills to help make certain our waterways remain healthy and vibrant. But now, we're facing one of the most difficult challenges we have ever experienced in the form of invasive quagga and zebra mussels that threaten the very nature of vital water resources. And so there's nothing to fight over. We all agree these little mussels may look harmless, but in the following program, you're going to see the devastating effect they've had on water supply, on recreation, on agriculture, power production, shipping, and wildlife. They have also cost water users in the eastern United States billions of dollars over the past 20 years. Today, these mussels are spreading west with potentially greater impacts. There's no question we've got to stop them from spreading. So this is something that all of us need to take very seriously. Whether or not we fish, boat, or use our great waterways for recreation, these little mussels are dynamite. They will affect you and your pocketbook if they become established. Now, it's not too late to prevent these invaders from spreading, but if we don't take action now, these mussels will spread from one area to the next as hitchhikers, on boats moved on trailers, and equipment moving between waters. If you look at one of these mussels and you figure it can produce 1 million additional mussels a year, you begin to know the kind of threat that they are. This program will give you the tools you need to play your part in stemming the tide of this invasion to protect our economy, our ecology, and our great cultural heritage.
Zebra and quagga mussels are 2 closely related freshwater species in the genus Dreissena, which are native to an area of Eastern Europe and Western Asia commonly known as Eurasia, specifically the Black and Caspian Seas. In their native range, these species evolved in an ecosystem that included a complete set of biological and physical controls that kept them in balance with their environment, including predators, disease, and physical water quality conditions that limit their distribution and numbers. In the late 1700s, Dreissenid mussels spread to Western Europe when an elaborate system of freshwater canals were constructed to facilitate the transport of goods and services throughout Europe. Because this occurred before the peak of industrialization and included many of the biological and physical controls that kept them in balance in their native range, the impacts to Western Europe have been significant but manageable. Sometime in the mid-1900s, zebra and quagga mussels were introduced into the North American Great Lakes, most likely in the ballast water of a cargo ship traveling from a European freshwater port. The first reported finding of Dreissenid mussels in North America occurred when zebra mussels were found in Lake St. Clair in 1988. During the following decade, zebra mussels spread rapidly, principally by downstream larval drift, but also on watercraft and equipment, to infest nearly every waterway connected to the Great Lakes, including the Mississippi and St. Lawrence rivers. And by the late 1990s, they were found in 23 states and 2 Canadian provinces, all east of the 100th meridian. Also in the late 1900s and early 2000s, a secondary invasion occurred when quagga mussels, which had represented only a small percentage of the mussel population before then, began to dramatically expand and by 2010 nearly completely dominate the Dreissenid mussel populations of the upper Great Lakes. Since then, they have continued to expand their range, primarily by hitchhiking on trailered watercraft and equipment moving between watersheds. But it wasn't until 2007 that Dreissenid mussels were found west of the 100th meridian, when quagga mussels were found in Lake Mead, and subsequently in downstream Colorado River impoundments and all connected waterways of the Colorado and Arizona aqueduct systems. In January of 2008, zebra mussels were found in San Justo Reservoir in Central California, and 2 adult zebra mussels were collected at Pueblo Reservoir in Colorado. However, while zebra mussels have become well established in San Justo, no additional adults and only a few veligers have subsequently been found in Pueblo Reservoir. Zebra and quagga mussels are relatively small freshwater mussels, ranging in size from just a couple of millimeters to a maximum size of about 5 centimeters, typically reaching sexual maturity at about 2 centimeters in length. While these mussels get their common name from the alternating dark and light bands that are often found on the outside of the shell, the pattern and coloration of both zebra and quagga mussels varies widely, often exhibiting few or no stripes at all. Both quagga and zebra mussels are similar in appearance and share the most distinguishing characteristic: the presence of byssal threads that are used to attach to any object of their liking. No other freshwater mussel in North America has byssal threads. The difference in appearance between the mussels has mostly to do with the shape and orientation of the 2 halves of the shell. Zebra mussels have a pronounced D shape, while quagga mussels have a more rounded shape and overlapping shell edge. This difference is not important. If you find any small attached mussel in freshwater, it spells trouble and should be reported immediately. Both mussel species reach sexual maturity at about 1 year of age, sooner in warmer and more productive waters. A single female mussel is capable of producing up to 1 million eggs a year with multiple spawnings. Fertilization is external and usually begins when water temperatures reach the low 50s. Fertilized eggs become free-floating planktonic larvae called veligers and remain in that state for 2 to 5 weeks while they accumulate calcium and develop a shell before settling on suitable substrate. Once settled, mussels are able to detach their byssal threads and move to find better conditions before settling semi-permanently. Zebra mussels prefer to attach to hard substrate, while quagga mussels do very well settling on soft sand or silt bottoms as well. Zebra mussels prefer near-shore areas in up to 100 feet of water, while quagga mussels are also found in very deep offshore areas to more than 400 feet. The typical lifespan for both species is 4 to 5 years, though individual zebra mussels have been found to live for more than 10 years in some cold water lakes. Dreissenid mussels are filter feeders, filtering up to a liter of water per adult mussel per day, selectively consuming desirable phytoplankton that would otherwise be used by important game and food fish, while avoiding less desirable plankton species, including certain types of blue-green algae, and then depositing waste and filtered sediment as pseudofeces to the bottom. Since Dreissenid mussels can occur at densities of up to 100,000 or more per square meter in some waterways, this action completely transforms the ecosystem of the host water body. Zebra and quagga mussels can have far-reaching and devastating impacts to water supply, power production, recreation, fish and wildlife, shipping and navigation, and other important economic, cultural, and ecological resources. It's been estimated that upwards of $5 billion have been spent mitigating the impacts of dry-seeded mussels on water delivery infrastructure in North America since they were first found in the Great Lakes in 1988. And while no comprehensive economic analysis has been done to calculate the total cost of this invasion on the ecology and economy as a whole, most experts agree that its true economic impact is probably several times that amount. This is an issue that touches everyone, not just boaters. If mussels become established in your area, it will likely result in increased fees and taxes, higher utility and food costs, severe boating, swimming, and fishing restrictions, increased maintenance costs passed on to consumers, lower waterfront property values, and economic hardship for local businesses that service water-based recreation.
It's imperative that we understand that as a natural resource, water is the basis for what we have here. Not only the recreation, but our farming in the south, the fisheries that we have, tremendous fisheries in Idaho, and in the entire Northwest. And this is not an issue that we can look the other way at. It's actually, this is the last stand.
Well, as we've seen zebra mussels enter our state and spread within our state, there's been a change in attitude in how we look at things, where at first people just thought it was limited and localized sort of impact, but as we've seen it quickly spread, there's been some interest in trying to understand the dynamics of these populations. And one thing that's become quite clear is that no one in Kansas is protected from the impacts of zebra mussels or other aquatic nuisance species.
What we've shown is that the productivity in Lakes Michigan and Huron are about 80% below what they were prior to the zebra and the quagga mussels coming in. And in fact, productivity and the phosphorus levels in the lakes are lowest that we have ever seen since we've started making the measurements.
So the ability of zebra and quagga mussels to completely transform aquatic habitats would be a huge problem for just even fish passage alone, changing the fish passage facilities to the point that they're not usable by these fish, changing the habitat so that the food that they depend on is no longer available. Any one of those could be devastating for our native salmon and steelhead.
The one thing that really frustrates me the most, and the tribes as well, is that the threat of these mussels now represents a very large black cloud hanging over the basin. We've had tremendous success in recent years with resurgence in our salmon runs. We have great programs on the ground to restore habitat, but all that could be for naught if mussels find their way in and colonize the Columbia River system.
Perhaps the best way to understand the impacts that zebra and quagga mussels can have on the ecosystem is to look at the changes that have occurred in the Great Lakes, where dry-seeded mussels first appeared more than 20 years ago.
Zebra mussels were the first dry-seeded mussel into the Great Lakes, and actually they became established in the 1980s. Particularly, I think, first Lake St. Clair, Western Lake Erie was just huge populations were established. And then they spread throughout the rest of the lakes. In Lake Michigan, zebra mussels were established in the early 1990s, and by the late 1990s had large populations. But in the upper lakes, Lakes Michigan, Lake Huron particularly, zebra mussels were primarily found around the edges of the lake because they need warm water to reproduce and they need hard substrate. And that's limited in southern Lake Michigan and the lake. So they had basically a limited distribution. Well, in the late 1990s, quagga mussels became established in Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, and they just basically took over. Now they're cold water adapted and can grow on soft substrates, so perfectly adapted for these cold water deep systems. And so they basically became abundant all the way across the lake, not just in a near shore ring. So you could go from Lake Muskegon, where we are here, across to Milwaukee 80 miles and right now almost walk on a carpet of quagga mussels.
In the nearshore waters, the zebra mussels aren't just taking things out of the water column, but they're in a way intercepting things before they get offshore. So we have what's considered a nearshore shunt of nutrients coming from the shoreline, coming from rivers, that get trapped by the zebra mussels and effectively recycled in that nearshore area. So in many nearshore areas, productivity is actually increasing. You're getting more macrophyte growth, getting more bacteria that cause beach closures.
The increase of these harmful algal bloom has been directly linked to the selective filtration of drysenids. These drysenids process a lot of water, whether it's quagga mussels or zebra mussels. And as they do, these big, large nuisance colonies, these harmful algae like Microcystis cyanobacteria, are thrown out as pseudofeces. And so over time, these mussels remove all the desirable algae, and they really enhance the undesirable algae, the harmful algal bloom, so their abundance increases tremendously.
The changes that they cause are not going away. They have caused, structural, physical changes in the lake bottom and water column where nutrients are in the system. So their changes are profound and likely to last a long time because of that physical change component.
In the 1980s or 90s, if you would lower this white disc down to the bottom, you would see it down about 20 feet, then it would disappear. Well, this past couple springs, we have put this thing down over 100 feet below the surface, and you can still see it. In fact, like I said, some of the clearest fresh water on the planet was in Lake Michigan the last couple springs.
One of the consequences of this clearer water is that a lot of this productivity is going into the bottom and it's coming up on shore, causing great problems in some of the areas in Lake Erie, but also in the northern part of Lake Michigan and places that are typically thought of being quite pristine.
The fisheries impact of the drysenids on the Great Lakes obviously is mixed. Some species have done well, some have not. But either directly or indirectly, the drysenid expansion has been linked to the collapse of salmon in Lake Huron and the demise of many sport fish, particularly, as you might expect, those that are dependent on planktonic food. I don't think anyone should argue that or would believe that if you have these huge mussel populations, our fisheries overall is going to be beneficial. There are small segments that might do better, but overall it's going to be not good, and that's the problem. Because what you're doing is you're just putting most of that carbon energy into mussels, which you'd like to put into fisheries. In Lake Michigan, the estimate right now is that there's 4 times as much drysenid biomass as there is fish biomass. And that's the problem.
It's removing the food source for these wonderful fisheries that we have here in the Great Lakes. I mean, the salmon fishery and the lake trout fisheries in Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are wonderful. And there's a great economic base for that, great recreational fishing associated with it. There's no food left for those fish.
Some of the most troubling and costly impacts that drysenid mussels have are those that affect our water supply and the infrastructure used to move water from its source to the point where it is used, including water diversion, conveyance, and delivery systems of all types and sizes. Once established, quagga and zebra mussels use their byssal threads to attach to trash racks, diversion screens, canals, pump stations, pipes and terminal fixtures like sprinkler heads, storage tanks, and fire suppression systems, building up in ever-increasing layers that, if left unchecked, eventually restrict or completely shut off the flow of water, burning out pumps and blowing out screens and filters needed to divert and deliver drinking, industrial, and irrigation water.
From the time that we realized that we had a quagga mussel infestation in the lake until the time we actually got the chlorine turned on, we began to have infestation in our infrastructure. We were taking apart small lines that go to instrumentation and finding that there were quagga in there. We were doing some physical inspections just as a result of changing out pipes and pumps, and we found them in that 5-mile raw water line over to the River Mountains Water Treatment Facility. So we know that had we not put something in place to control this infestation, that we would have quite a bit of problem in our infrastructure, and that could cause us to go anywhere from it being a nuisance in some parts of our pipeline to potentially shutting off the water supply. We're looking somewhere in the $10 to $15 million range just to run the pipeline from where the intake is being drilled all the way out to the point of intake.
One of the biggest concerns with older facilities is they put fire protection systems in. And if you have a quagga mussel infestation, these fire protections are at risk for biofouling. We see them in every single water passage in the dam that uses raw water. HVAC systems, cooling water systems again.
And then the Salt River Reservoir system feeds into our canal system, which has an arterial branching canals throughout the Phoenix metropolitan area, and that's what delivers the water to the water users, and that is majority agricultural use, residential use, and then the cities. So if the mussels get in, they can impact the dams, they can impact recreation, and and they can also impact our delivery system and the canal system.
This is the Columbia Basin project within the Bureau of Reclamation, a fairly large reclamation project based on water that we take out of the Columbia River. It's one of the larger projects that the Bureau of Reclamation has. We're currently irrigating about 671,000 acres in the basin. We produce anywhere from 60 to 80 major crops in any given year. Potatoes being one of the biggest things that we do. An awful lot of alfalfa. We're one of the largest producing areas for apples in the world. The concerns that the Bureau of Reclamation has with establishment of the mussels in this area are not so much in a big canal like this, but in the much smaller canals that we use to get water out of the big canals to all the farmlands. Those things keep getting smaller and smaller.
Quagga and zebra mussels also cause some secondary effects on water delivery systems. Their filter feeding activity increases water clarity, light penetration, and nutrient transfer to the bottom that causes increased aquatic plant growth. In some cases, that increased nuisance plant growth has caused major problems to water intake and screening structures. Another problem associated with drycenid mussels is the increase in harmful blue-green algae that can create taste and odor problems for drinking water supplies.
We are the major water supply for the city of Phoenix and the city of Tucson. Blue-green algae would be a very bad thing for those municipal treatment plants because they would have to deal with the taste and odor issues from the blue-green algae.
We've already seen the dramatic impacts that quagga and zebra mussels can have on the food web in aquatic ecosystems, completely re-engineering plant and animal communities and nutrient levels. Those changes can result in major impacts to commercially and recreationally important fish species and diminish overall fish abundance, size, growth rates, fishing opportunity, and catch rates.
Well, as the quagga mussels establish themselves offshore, in these high densities offshore, the round gobies moved offshore, and they moved out now to 450, 500 feet, have large populations. They just followed their food out, okay? And they're, like I said, the latest estimate is somewhere between 10 to 20% of the fish biomass in Lake Michigan now is round gobies, just phenomenal. So not only do you have more drycenids in all fish, the one fish you got is one that people don't really even like that much. Because it's expanding, it has definitely competed with the yellow perch, and the yellow perch is one of the primed fish around here.
We have documented a decrease in the abundance of some fish species. We have documented a decrease in body condition of some of our sport fisheries. And so zebra mussels are not a good thing for fishermen.
Hatchery systems are also susceptible to drycenid mussels. When hatcheries become infested, fish production is either terminated or severely curtailed, resulting in a major reduction in the number and distribution of game fish available regionally.
Well, we'd fully renovated this facility for trout production at a cost of about over $10 million. Shortly after mussels were discovered in Lake Mead in early 2007, we found them here at the hatchery. And at that point, we realized that the water supply that we had was infested with mussel veligers as well as other life stages. And we also had a full load of trout here at the hatchery, a full production. We had to get rid of those fish because of the potential of transporting mussels from the facility. Those fish could not be put anywhere but Lake Mead and Lake Mojave, and then shut the facility down completely and did a thorough cleaning. This facility was designed to plug a big hole in our statewide trout production for sport fishing, and that represented, a third to almost a half of our planned statewide production for sport angling. So taking this facility off the table was a very significant impact, and we just have not had any way to replace that.
In addition, these invasive mussels promote the growth of nuisance and toxic algae populations that can affect swimming, boating, and other forms of water-dependent recreation. Colonies of living mussels and windrows of dead mussels can cover the lake bottom and beaches, making recreational use of these areas difficult, undesirable, and dangerous because of their sharp-edged shells.
Lyngbia on the bottom will accumulate throughout the season. By August, there are places where you will find a fair carpet of it on the bottom. Then later on in the fall, what has happened is that washes up on shore and can get meter deep accumulations of it in some places depending on how the wind's blowing. So it's very unaesthetic, and homeowners and people that use the shoreline really don't like it.
Recreational boaters are also affected when mussels attach to the exterior surfaces of watercraft and clog internal engine cooling, raw water storage, and circulation systems, resulting in increased maintenance, operation, and repair costs.
I think right now the biggest issue we have with the quaggas is people absolutely wanting to protect their boats. We've
forming on every structure in the marina. They form underwater, around places where people recreate. Increased cost to us as far as maintenance goes, and the maintenance of all the marine equipment, cost and time. It just goes on and on and on.
The cost if we were infested by zebra mussels, probably the cost to maintain things would be a concern. Some other areas that not only with the marina here, but other areas of the lake that the Clay County takes care of. The golf course operates out of here. They have a water intake. If this lake was ever infested with the zebra mussels, we would definitely lose some traffic. It would scare people away if there was an area lake that was, within 30 or 40 miles that did not have them. We would probably lose a few to those. I would hope not, because I obviously don't want to lose any of our customers or any of our slip holders, but I definitely think some would choose to go another area if their boats were being affected by the lake quality.
Because Lake Mead is a reservoir and the lake levels do fluctuate, one of the impacts to our visitors is also visitor safety. We can typically see as the lake levels go down, mats of quagga mussels, and that increases calls to our rangers for medical services, people cutting their feet.
All of these recreational impacts have very significant negative effects on water-dependent businesses, local economies, and waterfront property values.
The health of the ecosystem in Lake Pend Oreille is key to the economy here, and invasive mussels would change everything, and I think it would leave our economy pretty well damaged.
Our largest issues that came about after the zebra mussel find was the questions, the scare. Once the word got out, it spread pretty quickly that that all of a sudden Smithville Lake had zebra mussels.
All power production facilities rely on water. Hydropower generating facilities use water to rotate turbines. Coal-fired and nuclear power plants require water to cool power generating equipment and for a variety of other critical functions, including fire suppression. Most power generation facilities in North America use water taken directly from lakes, reservoirs, or rivers. When those water sources become infested with Dreissenid mussels, those operations are threatened. Maintaining a reliable water supply to these facilities when mussels are present requires elaborate and expensive treatment systems and near constant maintenance.
Where a coal-fired power plant has surface water only, a nuclear power plant has essential surface water that is important for the cooling of the safety-related systems. We currently treat circ water for 2 hours a day, and we treat surface water for 6 hours a day, and those chemical costs right now are about $100,000 a year. When we go to 22 hours per day due to zebra mussels, that chemical cost will double.
If these invasive mussels were to get in or established, the costs at this project would be significant. The costs would likely affect our operation and maintenance. Primarily our maintenance would increase. Those costs would have to be passed on to the public in the form of rate increases.
So looking at industry sources as far as increases for retrofitting dams, hydroelectric facilities that have zebra quagga mussels, it ranges from $1,000 to $2,000 per megawatt. So for example, here at the Portland District, if we look at John Day, the Dalles, and Bonneville dams, we're looking at around a $5 to $10 million increase.
We now know about the effects that quagga and zebra mussels can have on the ecosystem and how those effects can ruin recreational, commercial, and subsistence fishing. But these invasive mussels can also adversely impact other fish and wildlife resources in a variety of less obvious ways. The link between the presence of Dreissenid mussels and the increase in toxic algae blooms in the Great Lakes has been well documented. In the last decade, these toxic algae blooms have been responsible for killing tens of thousands of diving ducks annually.
Because of the cladophora and the harmful algal blooms and the mussels, we have avian botulism going through the roof in many parts. Dead birds all over loons in northern parts of the lake, all attributed to the mussels. So it's really been a mess. And I think all of us would say not a good mess, the mussels. I mean, to the people of the West, you do not want these in your lake, period. End of story.
Zebra mussels have also had devastating impacts on native mussel populations in the major river system of the eastern and central areas of North America. Another major effect of a Dreissenid mussel invasion in the western U.S. would be the impact that they could have on salmon and steelhead fish passage in large river systems. Mussels attached to fish ladders used by adults and bypass systems for moving juvenile fish downstream would increase mortality, possibly to the level that would curtail commercial, tribal, and recreational fishing opportunity and increase the number of threatened and endangered fish runs.
Mussel impacts to juvenile fish passage systems could start right from the beginning, looking at the submersible traveling screens. There's some additional screens that could be impacted. The bypass systems, the velocity is low enough that we could have settlement of veligers into these systems, as well as down here at the juvenile fish facility. The water is slow enough that we could have some impacts here. One of the concerns with invasive mussels for our juvenile bypass systems is anywhere that these mussels could attach that come in contact with juvenile fish, they are very sensitive to any rough edges. The sharp shells could cause severe descaling of the juvenile smolts passing the dam. So most adult fish that bypass Bonneville Dam through the fish ladder system go through a small opening at the base of these concrete weirs that we're looking at. So the sharp edges of these mussels can get in these orifice openings or small openings and cause some severe cutting and injury to the adult fish passing those areas.
Young salmon and steelhead migrate through the Columbia River system through a series of bypasses and fishways which have been built at taxpayer expense for many millions of dollars, probably billions of dollars. And these bypass systems are not redundant. They're one-way valves, they're one-way plates, they're tubes that are lined just steel pipes, plastic pipes. And if zebra mussels were to attach on the insides of these pipes and on these screens, the young salmon would either be smashed against the screens or cut up in the pipes, or even just injured enough that predators like birds and predaceous fishes could then find them easier prey.
Another lesser-known impact of Dreissenid mussels is the effect they can have on shipping and navigation, including transportation locks and barge traffic. By attaching to the surface of locks and barges, zebra and quagga mussels accelerate the corrosive process and reduce their effective life. In addition, mussels encrusting the hulls of ships and barges plying North America's inland waterways cause increased drag and results in reducing speed and fuel efficiency. All of these impacts result in more money spent on operation, maintenance, and replacement, and when taken together can cost millions, if not billions of dollars over time.
So another potential impact at the facility in the Columbia River Basin is the navigation and our lock systems. So potentially we could get zebra mussels affecting the floating mooring bits. They could affect seals along the gates that would also impact our navigation system. On average, I believe we pass around 10 million metric tons of cargo through the lock system annually.
Our cultural heritage is rich and diverse. It values and celebrates the wealth of our abundant natural resources, ingenuity, heart, active living, independence, and the great outdoors. It is closely tied to land and water resources and their sustainable use. And for indigenous peoples of North America, water, wildlife, and fishing are synonymous with life itself. Quagga and zebra mussels have the power to severely alter much of our sacred heritage for the foreseeable future if we collectively fail to meet the challenge to prevent any further spread of these insidious invasives.
In addition to impact from a natural perspective, there's an economic, cultural, and social impacts that salmon losses would mean to the tribes and the people of the Columbia River Basin. The tribes have been working very, very diligently over the last 30 to 40 years to bring salmon back. We're starting to see some benefits of that. We're making headway.
We don't fish at times during seasons to make sure that there's enough fish that go through to sustain this, at least on a ceremonial level or subsistence level for the next year.
The loss of these fish from mussel impacts would be tremendous. Many of the tribal members depend on fish for their living. They depend on fish for cultural subsistence, and they depend upon these salmon as a religious item. Salmon are the primary food at births, funerals, name givings, and without these fish available, these traditions are in peril.
The key to preventing quagga and zebra mussels from expanding their range and disastrous impacts throughout North America is aggressive action. There should be no doubt that the benefits from preventing their spread far outweigh the costs of implementing comprehensive prevention programs that include outreach education, watercraft interception, early detection, and rapid response planning elements. Make no mistake, this is a preventable disaster, provided we are willing to act decisively and work cooperatively.
So the real problem with this problem is that there's very little we can do about it now. Once the zebra mussels and the quagga mussels have come into our system and have taken over in this sense, there's very little we can do about it. So the only thing we could have done is prevent them from coming in the first place.
9 out of the 10 lakes that we have infested in the state of Kansas could have been prevented. Someone brought zebra mussels to each one of those lakes. It was not through natural spread. And that's the interesting thing about zebra mussels. This spread is preventable. It's not inevitable that these will be in every lake across the country. It just depends on how much resources we're willing to dedicate to this issue.
One of the critical issues that the general public can get involved with on prevention of zebra and quagga mussels is taking actions themselves. This means cleaning, draining, and drying your boats. Government agencies do not have enough money to do everything that is necessary to prevent quagga and zebra mussels from spreading in the West. Therefore, all citizens, especially those that use recreational watercraft, fishermen, boaters, these folks have got to be on board and doing everything they can to stop the spread.
We're all anxious to get in the water. When we're on our way to go fishing, that's all that we have on our minds. But what we need to keep in mind, what needs to be top of mind, is that these fisheries are worth preserving and they're worth protecting. And once these mussels invade our waters, they're going to be everywhere. So spending a small amount of money right now on prevention is worth a pound of cure later. And so the inconvenience today is well worth preserving a fishery we might not have tomorrow.
All I can say is don't move a mussel, because they multiply so fast, and prevention is going to be costing you way less than it would cost if you're going to have to keep up with the maintenance, and we've definitely seen that.
There's only so much money available through these projects, and so we need volunteerism. We can't emphasize that enough. It's vital that we have that. So anybody that lives out there on a lake, or they recreate or they use those systems, join your local lake association and participate and encourage them to do monitoring at your ramps, your boat launches.
I really applaud the West for the way their attention they're putting on prevention and keeping the boats out. That's the way to go. You spare nothing to keep these mussels out of your lakes. Absolutely.
Every individual and water-dependent enterprise is affected when zebra and quagga mussels become established because we all depend on water. So even if you don't boat, fish, or recreate on your local waterway, you need to be aware of this threat and do what you can to help prevent their spread and control their impacts on water supply, power production, food production, and the thousands of other things that we've come to rely on from a safe, reliable, and economical supply of fresh water. It's vitally important that the limited resources available to combat the mussel problem in North America be maximized. To accomplish that, all agencies and organizations involved in the battle must coordinate, communicate, and cooperate to the greatest extent possible.
So the Fish and Wildlife Service largely plays a coordination role in zebra and quagga mussel management in the West, and that role is really important because we have limited resources and so many different avenues that require work for preventing zebra mussel invasion, early detection, developing rapid response capacity, and it's critical that states, other federal agencies, tribes, the private sector are all working together and all on the same page.
If you're a boater, seaplane operator, or water-based equipment provider, you need to take direct personal responsibility to thoroughly clean, drain, and dry your watercraft and equipment between uses. If you're a water resource manager, you need to implement prevention programs to safeguard those resources and encourage and support your neighbors to do the same. And even if you're only a food, water, and power consumer, you need to encourage and support Dreissenid mussel prevention and control efforts through your elected representatives. Minimizing the impact of these invaders on our lives and pocketbooks will require a team effort. Please do your part and stop aquatic hitchhikers.
City died on April 9th, 2015 as a result of injuries sustained in a motor vehicle accident. Sophia grew up with her mother, LaDonna Hollifield, as well as her two brothers. Stephen Edward Smith Jr. at the age of 17, born on March 18th. Jacob Anderson, 17 years young, born November 5th, 1997. Mac Waldo died unexpectedly in a car accident on April 9th, 2015. July 6th, 1998, died April 10th, 2015 from a fatal car accident. God bless her, for she is in a better place, a place where the night sky will last, where angels could play.
911, the address of your emergency. Hi, there's been an accident. Okay, what's the location? I'm at the high school and there's blood everywhere and my friend's on the front and I don't know if she's breathing. All right, I need you to calm down for a minute. How many people are involved? I don't know. I can at least see like 3. Okay, how many cars were involved? There are only 2, but you need to hurry. I don't know if she's alive still. All right, I want you just to hang on the phone. I'm dispatching crews. Don't hang up. Okay, please hurry.
There's just time. So is it wrong to dance this line? If your heart was full of love, could you give it up? 'Cause what about angels? They will come, they will go and make us special. Don't give me up. Don't give me up. How unfair, it's just our love. Found something real that's out of touch. But if you'd say to let it go, 'cause what about angels? They will come, they will go, make us special. Don't give me up. Don't give me up. 'Cause what about angels? They will come, they will go, make us special. It's not about angels, angels.
All I want is nothing more, to hear you knocking at my door. 'Cause if I could see your face once more, I could die a happy man, I'm sure. When you said your last goodbye, I died a little bit inside.
She's doing very stable. She's very stable at this time. She's had some serious injuries, as you can see. She has a broken cervical vertebrae, neck fracture, and this requires some surgery to stabilize it.
Massive head trauma. It looks like she's got brain exposed under.
It looks like she's in V-fib. She's not responding.
Yeah, I got no pulses at all.
No pulse at all?
None. E-systole on the monitor.
Okay. Followed all the protocols, and I'm sorry to say that she didn't respond to any of those treatments, and she has passed away. Okay.
I don't know why they took her. Why they took my baby.
I love you, Samantha, and you know where I'll see you someday, in heaven. I'm so sorry. My life will never be the same with Samantha gone.
You took my soul and wiped it clean.
Goodbye.
I don't know how to go on. I don't know how to go on.
So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these scars will bleed, but both of our hearts bleed. All of these stars will guide us home. I can hear your heart on the radio. Playing chasing cars, and I thought of us. Back to the time you were lying next to me. I looked across and felt It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Okay, we'll call the case State of Nevada versus Kayla McInnes. Are we ready for sentencing, counsel?
Yes, we are.
Consequently, having reviewed the papers, reports filed with respect to this case, I find you guilty of the offense and sentence you to 10 years for the death of Wyatt Tillman, 10 years for the death of Samantha Hansen as a result of your driving impaired, sentence you to 10 years in prison on each count, though that sentence...
Thank you. Thank you. Very sorry about your loss. Thank you. Where's your husband? Would you come out for you?
Chris?
Chris? My name's Officer Blackmore. Like I just told your wife, your son Wyatt was involved in a car accident at the Boulder City High School. Unfortunately, he did not make it.
Their son is safe with you. Lord, we just ask that you would give them the strength for the days ahead.
We're in A. Alright, G2. On the old Sesame Trail it was midnight. Carmela was strong on his mind because of the life he had chosen. Carmela had left him behind. Been a bandito. Carmela had left him alone, but today someone brought him a message which had been seen in old San Antonio. Across the right side of Waco, ride hard and I'll make it by dawn.
He looked down into her brown eyes, said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him, whispered, God will keep us free. They could hear the riders coming, said, this is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. She reached down and picked that gun up, laid smoking in his hand. Said, Father, please forgive me. I can't make it without my man. She knew that gun was empty. She knew she couldn't win. Her final prayer was answered when the rifles fired again. Everybody. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. Thank you much, Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City. Go on.
Oh, I'm thinking tonight of my blue, who is sailing far over the sea. Yeah, I'm thinking tonight of her, and I wonder if she thinks of me. Could have been better for us both had we known. And this wide wicked never met all the pleasure we both seem to get. I'm sure love I'll never forget. Oh, you
Branded man in B.
Delta, Branded man.
I'd like to hold my head up and be proud of who I am, but they won't let my secrets go untold. I paid the debt I owed them, and they're still not satisfied. Now I'm a branded man out of the cold. When they let me out of prison, I held my head up high, determined I would rise above the shame. But no matter where I'm living, that black mark follows me. I'm branded with the number on my name. I'd like to hold my head up and be proud of who I am, but they won't let my secrets go untold. I paid the debt I owed them, but they're still not satisfied. Now I'm a branded man out in the cold. If I live to be 100, I'll never clear my name, 'cause everybody knows I've been in jail. No matter where I'm living, I gotta tell them where I've been, or they'll send me back to prison if I fail. I'd like to hold my head up and be proud of who I am, but they won't let my secrets go untold. I paid the debt I owed them, but they're still not satisfied. Now I'm a branded man out in the cold. Now I'm a branded man out in the cold.
Yeah. Using C4.
Gibby.
C4. Yeah, Gibby.
Okay.
second to get into your depot.
Yeah,
But-
I figured that.
What we got there?
D4. He said, I love you till I die. She told him, you'll forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. Had some pictures by his bed, dated 1962. He had underlined in red every single I love you. He said, I love you till I die. She told him, you'll forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. Had a picture on his wall, went half crazy now and then. He still loved her through it all, hoping she'd come back again. Everybody. He said, I love you till I die. She told him, you'll forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. He said, I love you till I die. She told him, you'll forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. Thank you much. Cowboy Chuck.
Cowboy Chuck.
All right. She's not ready yet.
I'm ready.
Oh. Yeah, we've been recording all along, so. Have I told you lately I love you? Could I tell you once again somehow? Have I told from my heart and soul how I adore you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. My heart would break to
Today I passed you on the street, and my heart fell at your feet. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Somebody else stood by your side, and you look so satisfied. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. A picture from the past comes slowly stealing. As I brushed your arm, I walked so close to you. Suddenly I got the old time feeling. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Mr. D. It's hard to know another's lips will kiss you and hold you the way I used to do. Heaven only knows how much I miss you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Today I passed you on the street, and my heart fell at your feet. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Somebody else stood by your side, and you look so satisfied. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Thank you much, Cowboy Chuck.
Come on down the mountain, Katy Daisy. Come on down the mountain, Katy Doo. And here is calling Katy Daisy. We want your good old Mountain Dew. With her old man, she came from Tipperary, 42. Her old man was shot in Tombstone City. We're making it good old Mountain Dew. Come on down the mountain, Katy Daisy. Come on down the mountain, Katy Doo. And here is calling Katy Daisy. We want to drink your good old Mountain Dew. I wake up, pay attention, Katy Daisy. I'm the good one gonna send you. All you for just drink the whiskey and tell the truth. Drink a little too. Come on down the mountain, Katy Daisy. Come on down the mountain, Katy Doo. And here's calling Katy Daisy.
Alpha Delta. If I mess this one up, I'm out of here.
Oh, build the ball's good.
A vagabond dreamer, a rhymer and singer, singing to no one and nowhere to really belong. Met a beautiful lady up her southern belle of like Scarlett
Good G, guys. That's Webb me. Pierceman, walking a dog. Ready? Oh, I'm walking a dog, and I'm never blue. I'm walking a dog, ain't thinking about you. I don't need no one. To tie me down. I'm walking a dog. I'm painting a town. Such an easy life I never knew until that day that I left you. I'm a carefree lad that's seen the light. I'm walking the dog all the day and all night. Well, I'm full of strength, I just can't grow old. I got a one-track mind, so I've been told. But I'm fancy free, I don't worry no how. I'm a walking the dog, all alone around. Such an easy life I never knew until that day that I left you.
seen the light, and I'm a walking the dog all the day and all night.
Woo! Okay, what are we playing?
We're playing Don't Hurt to Hurt Sometimes.
Oh,
Nico. Sometimes I feel the weight of the past break in my mind. I know it's on for good, makes me wanna cry. Is this all we get to keep as the years go strolling by? Just a memory of all the days gone by. Everybody help. Oh, you're always in my heart, and you're often on my mind. Your love will never die, long as I'm alive. It seems so sad to me that we never said goodbye. I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Hold on to the moment, but time won't let you stay. For every step you take, you lose something along the way. Is this all we get to keep as the years go strolling by? Just a memory of all the days gone by. Oh, you're always in my heart, and you're often on my mind. Your love will never die, as long as I'm alive. Oh, it seems so sad to me that we never said goodbye. I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Oh, I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Cowboy Chuck.
that's my song. We'll have to come A and D and E.
Okay. Come on, D-Dog, let's hear it.
This one's
I got a wife.
walking in the Blue Ridge with you, Junior Sisters. Ready? I held your hand in San Francisco, kissed your lips in New Orleans. We've been up north and way out west, and all points in between. But home is where the heart is, and my heart is in these hills, and it always leads me back, and I know it always will. Walking in the Blue Ridge, oh, what a sight to see. Roaming through the mountains,
Well, Chuck wanted this song, so I wrote it up for him, and I'm going to see if I can do it today. If I can't, I'll just show it. D for Delta. Driftwood on the river.
On the sea.
Ernest Tubb. I'm just driftwood on the river, floating down the tide. I don't care where this whole river carries me. I keep drifting just because my heart is broken inside. And I'm tired of wishing for what cannot be. I may meet some bit of driftwood lost the same as I. Share a handshake and a tender tear or two. But it's always good luck how we've got to say goodbye. I must wander on to keep my rendezvous. Though I drift from town and city, I can never stay. For I find no place to call my home sweet home. I don't ask for help nor pity, I just go my way. All I'm praying for is peace to dream alone. I'm just driftwood on the river, and I'm drifting on till this weary river meets the deep blue sea, where the deep blue sea may help me to forget someone. Yeah, the girl is one who has forgotten me. In my heart, I don't feel better over what has been. I feel sorry for the one I must forget. And instead of being someone with the world to win, I'm just driftwood on the river of regret. I'm just drifting on the river of regret.
An old classic. You are my sunshine. Everybody knows it. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my holly away. The other night, dear, as I laid sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I got my guitar and played. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Now would ya?
Hank song, Cold Cold Heart.
Okay.
Know that song. I tried so hard, my dear, that you're my every dream. Yet you're afraid each thing I do is just some evil scheme. A memory from your lonesome past keeps us so far apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? Another love before my time made your heart sad and blue. And so my heart is paying now for things I didn't do. And anger, unkind words are said that make the teardrops start. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? You'll never know how much it hurts to see you sit and cry. You know you need and want my love, yet you're afraid to try. Why do you run and hide from life? To try it just ain't smart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind? Your cold, cold heart. You play that D? It's in G, George. Here we go.
There was a girl on my mind I can't get over, that would break the heart of any man. Without her, things would fall to pieces. Well, I'm dreaming about my Marianne. Oh, I'll just keep touching up my grave.
George. Or D5, however you want to play it. I'm gonna play it in D5. You come home late and you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. Come home straight and you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. I've got a heart that's full of a fever. Got a weary and a jealous mind. How can a love that'll last forever get left so far behind? What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? The broken speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You broken speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. Mighty mean and a dreadful sorrow come over the land today. How can you ask about tomorrow when you ain't got one word to say? What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run. Jimmy got some control.
A chord. In a bar in Toledo, across from that depot, a bar stool she took off her ring. I thought I'd get closer, I walked on over, I sat down and asked her name. She was a beauty, but when she come to, she must have thought I'd lost my mind. I couldn't hold her, for the words that he told her kept running back time after time. He picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Poor hungry children, crops in the field. I've had some bad times, lived through some sad times. This time you're hurting, won't you? You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy. He finally left us. I ordered more whiskey. She said, let's go have a ball. From the lights of that bar room to a rented motel, we walked without talking at all. She was a beauty when she come to me. She must have thought I'd lost my mind. I couldn't hold her, for the words that he told her kept running back time after time. He picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy. Poor hungry children, crops in the field. I've had some bad times, lived through some sad times. This time you're hurting,
old Jimmy Rogers song, or not Jimmy Rogers, Jimmy Martin song. And get the right Jimmy here. Ocean of Diamonds. You don't remember that one?
I like Jimmy D. Never heard that. Sing it for
I don't think.
You can listen. I give an ocean. I give an ocean of diamonds, the world filled with flowers, just to hold you close, dear, for just a few hours, to hear you whisper softly that you love me too. Would change all the dark clouds to bluest of blue. Some people drink champagne out under the stars, while others drink wine lean over a bar. But all that I need to make me feel fine is to know that your love will forever be mine. I give an ocean of diamonds, the world filled with flowers, just to hold you close, dear, for just a few hours, to hear you whisper softly that you love me too. Would change all the dark clouds, bluest of blue. I don't drink their champagne, I don't drink their wine. So if you refuse me, my poor heart will pine. I'll be so lonely till the day that I die. As long as I live here, still hear me cry. Give an ocean of diamonds, the world filled with flowers, just to hold you close, dear, for just a few hours, to hear you whisper softly that you love me too. Would change all the dark clouds, bluest of blue. Would change all the dark clouds, bluest of blue.
Cowboy D.
I got in there, Cash and Ray Charles. I'll try to do it like William did.
I've heard of Willie and Ray.
Crazy old soldier. Well, I've had fame and fortune, women come knock on my door. I've lived to the limit and maybe a little bit more. There's so many stories of how I got out of control. Some say it's a woman, some say it's my About as long as I remember, I'll never hang up like a crazy old soul, fighting the war on my own. Just me and the whiskey, bottles are 10,000 strong. Good thing I killed as many times as I've been hit. Like a crazy old soul, I just don't know when to quit. Like a crazy old soul, I just don't know when to quit.
Crazy old soldier.
Yeah.
I like to pass.
Busted flat in Baton Rouge, headed for a train, feeling nearly faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed a diesel down just before it rained, took us all the way to New Orleans. I took my old mouth harp from my dirty red bandana. I was playing sad while Bobby sang the blues. Windshield wipers flapping time and Bobby clapping hands in fine. We sang every song that driver knew. Freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Life was easy living, Lord, when Bobby was with me. Feeling good was good enough for me. Oh yeah, good enough for me and Bobby McGee. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, doing everything I'd done. And at night she kept me from the cold. Somewhere near Salinas, Lord, I let her step away, looking for that home I hope she'd find it. I'd trade my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Life was easy living, Lord, when Bobby was with me. Feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby and me. Good enough for me and Bobby and me. Or something like that.
Tim hadn't done this one with me, but he's going to try. A-D-and-E, this is a pretty easy one.
Without DW and Chuck hogging the show, you got it, man.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
You heard this one before?
I haven't.
Nail my shoes to the floor?
Yeah. I guess we're going to hear it right now.
Yeah. Nail my shoes to the floor, glue my coat to the door, take my hat, throw it far, far away. Hide the keys to my car, and if I ask you where they are, don't say a word, just nail my shoes to the floor. keys to my car, and if I ask where they are, don't say a word, just nail my shoes to the floor. No, don't say a word, just nail my shoes to the floor.
My shoes are nailed to the floor. I got them.
That's a cute one, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
Death is an angel sent down from above, sent for the buds of the flowers we love. For each soul that blossoms in this world must will bloom as a flower in the Master's bouquet. Gathering flowers for the Master's bouquet, beautiful flowers that'll never decay, gathered by angels and carried away, forever to bloom in the Master's bouquet. Loved ones are passing each day and retire, as in the way of the soul of a flower. Truly is so far in heaven on the way. Soul is a flower in the Master's bouquet. Carrying flowers for the Master's bouquet, beautiful flowers that'll never decay, gathered by angels and carried away, forever to bloom in the Master's bouquet, forever to bloom in the Master's bouquet.
We need a recording.
Company 80, it says Company 90, traffic control, top of the hill by Shane. Shut down the hill before City Hill 1560. Arm show, attack 81. 81. Be advised, we're just going on scene now. I was trying to call you. We copied 190 requesting us one grab.
When the tones drop, going from doing something very calm and relaxed to rushing into a fire when everybody else is coming out is a very unique thing, and it's very rewarding when you can make a difference, when you can hold somebody's hand when they're in their time of need, when you can give that comfort, when you can make a difference. It truly is the most rewarding career that I know of. Boulder City Fire Department utilizes reserve firefighters to supplement their staffing. Annually, we conduct a proficiency school, which is a process that we do to test our incoming cadets. Early on in the process, I try to take the time to come out during their training sessions and meet and let them get to know me as the fire chief. And during that process, I talk to them about what they're getting ready to enter. Even though it's a fairly short proficiency school, fire proficiency school that they go through, there is a lot to learn and a lot to do. And one of the biggest things that I talk to them early on in the process is another requirement is they have to pass the physical agility test, or the candidate physical agility test. It's called CPAT in the fire service. And basically this test has been developed which shows us that they have the physical ability to do the job. And it can be very demanding. And so early on in the process, I walk up and down the line and I tell them, if there's one thing you need to start working on right now is your ability to pass that test. Congratulations to all of you. It was a lot of hard work. I saw all of you working very hard. You participated in many things. Thank you for your support of the fire department, and thank you for your commitment to this program. It's another step in a journey that I hope will take you a long time in your fire service career. I've had a great time so far in mine, and I just want to say thank you for your commitment and congratulations.
way the Civil War came to be, and some people do give me credit for starting it, but I turn around and give the kids credit, students credit, because actually it was in the late afternoon one day, and when things get just kind of a little boring, and we were studying the Revolutionary War, and the kid said, "Can we divide up and one be England and the other one the USA and America, and have a little war here in our room?" And I said, "Sure, sounds good to me." So we had to kind of get some to do the England part, but they all wanted to be the Americans, of course. Everybody wants to win. But anyway, so we divided up, and we got behind the desk and other things, and we had a little shoot off there by just making noises with our mouths and pointing and so forth, and that was fun. So then when we started studying the Civil War, they said, "Hey, can we do this again? But we want to throw water balloons at each other." And so I said, "Boy, that does sound fun." So we divided up in the South and the North, and that was quite easy, because you have a lot of people that have come from the South, and not near as many as from the North. But anyway, we divided that up, and we went out and practiced, set up a few signs, and just did a little bit. And the teacher that was teaching 5th grade at that time was Mrs. Bernald, and she said, Would you mind if our class come out and watched like the Battle of Bull Run, or we would reenact the Battle of Bull Run, and we'll bring our kids and have a little on our parasols and put up and have a little picnic, just like they did at Washington D.C. during that first battle, or actually the second battle. But anyway, so they came out. So that was kind of the first battle.
I remember being excited. We had to do the water balloons. It was really fun.
Principal came to us and she said, "Every kid in the 5th grade wants to be in you two's class." She says, "You either got to let all the classes reenact it with us, or she says you got to quit it." Well, we said, "Hey, we'll welcome that." So after that, we started the whole 5th grade became a whole 5th grade reenactment.
Well, my actual involvement started 26 years ago, and when I went to watch Mr. Tobler's class reenact, I believe they did Bull Run the first year. It's grown and become such a beautiful thing. The uniforms are amazing now, because as each group's gone through, they've left behind good uniforms. We have the horses, the flags, the parade, the music, everything that it's grown into now, and all of those things make a lasting impression.
For the last 6 years, I've been Confederate, and we do it every year. We get uniforms, they go marching, they learn how to drill and everything, and we practice for 3 days prior to the Civil War so that the kids really know their parts and know how to perform and put on a great show for the community.
Mr. Coe and Mr. Tobler made it a big deal for the kids, and they'd get their uniforms on and grow their beards, and it was really a team building experience. And they're both really great leaders.
It's not just a war game, it's a learning experience is what we try to do. And that's why we have the speeches on the different things of what went on during the Civil War. We have the nurses, the doctors. We have a couple of years we even had a couple of ladies dress up in the Southern Belle, which we thought was good.
I haven't experienced anything but complete support for the event since it very first started, and it's grown. We've had, the mayor generally come, city council members, we've had senators, assemblymen, because it is such a valuable thing. It's a part of U.S. history. It's one of the main parts of U.S. history, and it's something that should be valued and studied in our history, so something like that will never be repeated again. Some people learn by reading, some people learn by doing. They have to touch it, smell it, taste it. You can ask any student, who taught you your times tables? They'll have no idea. But if you ask them, name 3 things that you remember from 5th grade, they'll say every time they'll start with the Civil War.
They actually will remember the sadness of the Civil War, the heartache that they went through. Usually we talk to them about Anderson's prison, the things that went on in the prison. They learn about how many people were shot, and the sanitation conditions weren't very good, and so many of them died of that. And what a terrible thing it was, as brothers killing brothers and families killing families, and then the separation of families too, because one on one side, one on the other. So they kind of really learned the basic of American history. They actually reenact it, so they learn it instead of just reading a book and probably forget it.
Thank you, and now may we present the excitement, the bravery, the drama, the terror, and the grief of the worst war in U.S. history, the American Civil War.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to parade.
You know, in the real Civil War, sometimes at night, even though they knew they were going to fight and kill each other the next day, some of the guards or the sentries camped across the river from each other with meat in the middle of the river. In the south, they had tobacco, and in the north, they had coffee. So they would trade cigarettes and coffee in the stream, and then the next morning they'd get up and go shoot at each other.